it will be equivalent to the road infrastructure of USA.
We have now entered the growth phase, and I believe that
Hello and welcome, I'm Bharat Nyay Yatra and I'm back with another edition of Race to Power, a show where we talk about everything elections. Here's what we have lined up for you. The election spirit in India has come in early. The ruling Bharatiya Janata Party is expected to take a bold step, and the opposition has launched a massive march to entice the voters. The big question, of course, is which strategy will actually work? In Pakistan, relief for former Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi was short-lived. Just as he was being released from the jail for one case, the police dragged him back for another case. Watch till we show you the dramatic visual that played out. Our top story on the show today is from India. The world's largest democracy is set to go to polls in less than 4 months from now. The incumbent government led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Bharatiya Janata Party has been in power for almost a decade now. The party, banking on Prime Minister Modi's popularity, is eyeing a third term. And now it seems the party can't wait to hit the ground running. Bolstered by its success in the recent state assembly elections, the BJP is gearing up to finalize its Lok Sabha candidates early. Reports say that the party could start announcing its candidates even before the Election Commission announces the poll schedule. Going by the timeline followed in last elections, the BJP can release its candidates list as early as January or February next year. The success of the experiment of announcing its list early worked well in the state polls held last month, giving it a vital head start over its rivals. Analysts believe the BJP's decision to announce seats early shows clear sense of intent and purpose. Just last week, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had reportedly directed his party leaders to aim for over 50% of vote share in the 2024 general elections. Prime Minister Modi was addressing a closed-door meeting of the party's national office bearers in New Delhi. This time, the party seems to be rallying behind the slogan of Modi's guarantees. Reports say that the BJP's central leadership has decided to use the slogan to push forward its poll promises and vision for the nation, focusing on 4 specific demographies: women, youth, farmers, and the poor. It's becoming evident that the BJP is not ready to take any chances. It is already on mission mode in its efforts to win a third term. The BJP won 2 consecutive elections, first in 2014 and then with an even stronger mandate in 2019. India's national elections are the biggest on the planet. 543 seats in the lower house of the Indian Parliament are up for grabs. More than 945 million people are eligible to vote. That's more than the total population of Europe. Whoever gets the mandate gets to be on the commanding heights of a $3.5 trillion economy. Relatively, that's more than the total GDP of the African continent. The stakes for 2024 are high, and the contenders definitely know it. Let's now take a look at what's happening in the camp of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's rivals. The much talked about India alliance still has a lot to do. The opposition alliance of 28 parties is yet to declare even their prime ministerial candidate. Seat sharing and common minimum program are also far from sight. In this backdrop, the Indian National Congress, which is also the main opposition party in the country, has announced a flagship campaign. Congress leader and Member of Parliament Rahul Gandhi will embark on another countrywide campaign from January 14th to March 20th. The campaign will be called the Bharat Nyay Yatra, which loosely translates to India's March for Justice. The march on foot will take place between Manipur in the northeastern part of India to Mumbai in the west, also known as the financial capital of the country. The yatra will be undertaken mostly by bus with short stretches of foot march. It will cover more than 6,200 kilometers across 14 states. Now, starting from Manipur, the yatra will traverse through Nagaland, Assam, Meghalaya, West Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand, Orissa, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan and Gujarat. It will finally conclude in the India's financial capital of Mumbai in Maharashtra. As you can see, the plan is to cover the breadth of India from east to west. Rahul Gandhi embarked on a similar yatra last year as well, when he covered the entire length of the country from south to north. The Congress leader, along with 120 volunteers, walked from Kanyakumari at the southern tip of India to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. The journey of 4,080 kilometers took almost 144 days. It was called the Bharat Jodo Yatra, or Unify India March. The Bharat Jodo Yatra began on 7 September of 2022 and passed through 12 states and the 2 union territories. Starting from Tamil Nadu, the yatra traversed through Kerala, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Haryana, national capital of Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab and Himachal Pradesh, before finally ending in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, many analysts believe that the Bharat Jodo Yatra was widely popular in the states it travelled through. The campaign was considered widely popular on social media as well. And yet, when it comes to electoral gains, the march left much to be desired. While Congress won state assembly elections in Karnataka and Telangana, its recent losses in states of Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan have exposed the electoral effectiveness of the initiative. The Bharat Nyay Yatra is different than its earlier version. Following recent setbacks in assembly elections, the morale of Congress party workers is definitely low, and there is a prevailing sentiment within the party that winning in 2024 is a distant dream. A marathon yatra at this time could provide the much-needed oxygen to re-energize the party's grassroots workers. Now, for more on this and to decode Indian politics for us, we are being joined by Dr. Makarand R. Prajanpe, author and professor, JNU from New Delhi. Welcome to the broadcast, sir.
Happy to be here.
My first question to you is, the BJP we are getting reports that it's going to announce its candidates for 2024 general elections prior than it was expected. Do you think that the general elections in India might be held prior than we were expecting?
Oh, that's $1 billion, or should I say billion vote question. Let me just tell you that nobody really knows what the Prime Minister is thinking. He keeps his cards close to his chest and he's surprised critics and admirers time and time again. So it's pointless predicting. Also, remember how the India Shining campaign of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, whose anniversary we just celebrated, came up a cropper. In fact, the BJP lost the elections after advancing the date. So we can't say anything about when the elections will actually be held, but It is true, I think, that the BJP may announce its candidates because it wants familiar faces already to be circulating in their constituencies, going back there and campaigning well before the dates are actually announced. Now, there's another aspect to this that some commentators are observing, that after the Ram Mandir is inaugurated on the 22nd of January, the party is going to assess the mood of the nation. And if they think that they've got the momentum required to push through before the opposition reorganizes or makes any more plans for a counter narrative, some people say they may actually go in for an earlier poll. But as I said, it's very, very hard to predict. What's very clear, though, what is very clear is, as you yourself said, they are in mission mode. They're not taking things lightly, and they want to get more than 50% of the popular vote. Remember, last election in 2019, they got 37%, and the NDA, that is with their alliance, added, they got 45%, or more than 40%. So I think that they really want a huge boost to their campaign, both in terms of vote share and in terms of the people elected.
Right. Professor, if we could come to the rival camp now, to surprise to many of the experts, Congress has now launched a full-on campaign just a few months before the general elections. And this is not the first time we are seeing it. We also saw Bharat Nyay Yatra this year that started in January of this year. Do you think this kind of initiative actually works for the voters in India?
I don't know about voters, but it will certainly work for the party. I think that the Bharat Jodo Yatra, despite the critics and those who mocked it, was not an entire failure, was not an utter failure. It did bolster up Mr. Rahul Gandhi's profile and won him some admirers and friends. I think that the Bharat Nyay Yatra, the India Justice Rally or Journey, will also, I think, help Rahul Gandhi. But will it translate into votes? I'm not really sure, because the Congress seems clueless to offer an alternative to the BJP narrative. It seems to me that instead of constantly criticizing the Prime Minister or the BJP, it should actually offer an alternative. It should offer better ideas, and it should also demonstrate in states which it has won recently, like Karnataka, and even more recently in Telangana, which was a massive victory. In fact, a surprise victory. It should demonstrate good governance. It should demonstrate good governance and actually, tampering down on corruption.
Right. Professor, sorry to interject very quickly. You said that you're not sure if it will work for the voters, the march, but definitely for the party members. But don't you think any party at this moment would rather focus on the voters and not on the party leaders like Rahul Gandhi?
Well, it's a bit of this and a bit of that, because the Congress needs to galvanize its cadres. Remember, the margin of victory for the BJP in several constituencies has not been very large. So the Congress does remain the principal opposition party in India nationwide. So if they can translate this yatra into some key wins in closely contested constituencies, it will actually benefit them. But more than that, they need a combined strategy for India, for that alliance called India. They need an alternative narrative, and they need to focus on some positives, like what can they do rather than just criticizing the government and, trying to wipe out the image of their being a dynastic or a corrupt or a nation-breaking type of party, captured by the woke, the kind of fringe liberal left type of, advisors and ideologues. The Congress should return to its heritage of being a centrist party, which is actually attractive to the majority of the voters, not just to the small fringe on the outside.
All right, Professor. Thank you so much for getting us all those insights. We are completely out of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, now, despite getting bail in the Cypher case, Pakistan's former Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi continues to be in jail. Qureshi was rearrested at the Adiala jail in another case soon after his release in the Cypher case. Soon after his release, the Punjab police detained Qureshi. Ignoring his objections, the police pushed him into an armoured police vehicle and took him back into the jail. Just on Friday, Pakistan's top court granted bail to former Prime Minister Imran Khan and Qureshi in the Cypher case. They were told to submit surety bonds worth million Pakistani rupees each. Qureshi's daughter said that she expected her father would be released and his arrest was not required in any other case. Let's see how the drama unfolded again in Pakistan.
इन्होंने मेरे आप ही का I'm sorry ये देखिए ये क्या देखे ये क्या कर रहे हैं ये क्या है ये क्या कर रहे हैं ये देखिए आराम से ये तरीका है पुलिस वालों का हमारे लीडर रिहाई का.
The latest arrest was reportedly in connection with the Pakistan Army General Headquarters attack case. The Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf Party condemned Qureshi's arrest. On social media platform, the party called the arrest after bail a slap on the face of the Pakistani judiciary and the justice system. The PTI also urged the Chief Justice of Pakistan to take note of the abuse of power and issue orders for the Qureshi's release. Now, for more on this, our Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Malik has been tracking the story very closely. He gets you this report.
PTI senior vice chairman and former Pakistani foreign minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi was rearrested after being ordered to be released on bail from Adiala jail. Now, he was rearrested with regards to a separate case. The PTI has said that it would be contesting the arrest and would rather be going to the Supreme Court. He was arrested in an unceremonious manner, in an undignified manner, where he was pushed, he was ushered, and something that sight that you don't usually see with senior politicians. On the other hand, the scrutiny for nomination papers continues, and PMLN's Nawaz Sharif has cleared the scrutiny, paving his way to contest elections. Meanwhile, the Pakistan People's Party chairperson Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, while addressing a public rally in Garhi Khuda Bakhsh, has announced that he will be the candidate of Pakistan People's Party for Prime Ministership, subject to the approval of his party's Central Executive Committee. Anas Malik, Islamabad, Pakistan, for WION World is One.
Staying on with developments from Pakistan, the Pakistan People's Party chairperson Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has kick-started his party's campaign for the February 8th elections. He has also announced that he will be the prime ministerial face for his party. Addressing a party gathering in central Pakistan, Bilawal unveiled a 10-point agenda with an emphasis on welfare schemes. He was speaking on the occasion of the 16th death anniversary of his mother, former Pakistan Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto. If voted to power, Bilawal says that his party would double salaries within 5 years, provide free solar energy of 300 units for the poor, free healthcare services all across Pakistan, and other poverty elevation programs. The PPP has been a long-time player in Pakistani politics. For decades, the PPP and the Pakistan Muslim League took turns in power, barring stints of military rulers. In April last year, the PPP joined hands within the PMLN to ouster PTI's Imran Khan from power. But both the seasoned rivals decided to break their alliance before the February 8th polls were announced.
कंसल्टेशन से मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूं.
Over to Bangladesh now, where the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and her party Awami League has announced their manifesto for the next year's general elections that are slated for January 7th. Some of the points that her manifesto strongly points towards is actually about the welfare of Bangladesh, and she specifically talks about the Smart Bangladesh movement. Now, this comes in the heels of the elections that are slated for just within 10 days from now, that are slated for 7th January. Before I tell you what they are promising, I want to go across to the party and Hasina a little more closely. Hasina is seeking a 4th consecutive term. Apart from this, she was also in office from 1996 to 2001, which means that she has been the leader of Bangladesh for 20 long years. Her party, Awami League, has won 6 out of the 11 elections since independence that were held. And with that kind of political resume, Hasina seems well prepped for the 2024 elections. Straight off the bat, she has pledged to build a smart Bangladesh with a timeline that stretches from the nation's independence till the year 2100, wherein she has made 5 kinds of promises: political, economical, cultural empowerment, prosperity, and lastly, safety. Hasina has further set down 11 priorities, part of which are building a modern technology-oriented country, a universal health system, peace and prosperity. Speaking of peace and prosperity, the country is witnessing neither. According to the main opposition party that is carrying out an anti-election campaign, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party has so far called for protests, strikes and even a non-cooperation movement. Experts say the demands and protests are not having as big of an impact as the opposition thought. Now, democracy is at the center of the violence in Bangladesh. The opposition has constantly blamed the Prime Minister of rigging elections. And sticking to the accusations, the largest opposition party, the BNP, has not filed for any nominations for next year's election. Instead, it has asked Sheikh Hasina to step down immediately. Now, with the manifesto announced, that doesn't seem to be happening. Now to Russia, where more and more candidates are taking a shot at contesting the March 17th presidential race. But the system seems to be interested in only letting Kremlin supporters pass through. For instance, a Russian politician calling for peace in Ukraine lost her appeal against the Election Commission in the Supreme Court. After election officials refused to accept her nomination for presidential race, former regional legislator and TV journalist Yekaterina Dunsova has promoted her vision of a humane Russia that's peaceful, friendly and ready to cooperate with everyone on the principle of respect.
As of today, I cannot run to be president of the Russian Federation, but I believe that we must not give up and stop under any circumstances. The movement that has arisen must be preserved. I think we will come up with a format for it, or rather, it seems to have already been born potentially. Today, there is no party that would represent our interests. There is no party that would simultaneously transmit values for peace, but at the same time, we still defend them. I believe that we need to take the initiative to create a political party that would represent us all.
And before we wrap up this episode of Race to Power, we leave you with these visuals of India's key opposition leader, Rahul Gandhi. He was seen playfully wrestling with Olympic medalist Bajrang Punia, who was recently in news during the wrestlers' protests. Thanks for watching. I'm Ananya Datta.
India's global voice.
Israel woke up to a barrage of thousands of rockets fired from the Gaza Strip.
אזרחי ישראל, אנחנו במלחמה.
Hostilities have broken out between Israel and Palestine, and the tension